to promote peace through mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation with cultural, educational, and economic endeavors. Spanning 143 countries with over 2,000 city connections worldwide, the United States Sister Cities International Program has fostered dialogue across borders and helped to create lifelong friendships between people from around the globe. This connection would not exist today without the leadership of the Denver Sister Cities movement in 1948. This fellowship, the first made following World War II, was between Denver, Colorado, and Brest, France. It was forged with the intent of solving international political conflict and building acquaintances overseas. In 1956, following the leadership of the Denver program, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gave impetus for a nationwide organization called People to People that existed to promote diplomacy and non-governmental interactions between people from around the globe. In 1967, the Town Affiliation Association was formed. This program, now renamed as Sister Cities International, exists with the objective of engaging citizens with the world that they live in, and preparing the youth of today to be the leaders of tomorrow. Through cultural, political, and economic exchanges, humanitarian assistance, and international dialogue, the legacy of Denver Sister Cities and the nationwide Sister Cities movement can be seen both across the United States and around the globe. The world's first twin-town partnership occurred in 836 AD between Paderborn, Germany, and Le Mans, France. This pairing occurred due to a common religious background and as a gesture of goodwill. As the concept of town twinning gradually spread throughout Europe, its presence in the United States was relatively unknown. While immigrants brought with them a culture and shared sense of pride in their origins, ties to their home countries were typically hampered by distance. Once they arrived in the States, these groups often established cities named after their hometowns, patron saints, or in relation to their place of origin. As towns like Cambridge, Hamburg, Belmont, and New London emerged, they often formed connections with their pairs abroad, and, similar to the town twin movement, formed bonds that became known as name towns. While none of these bonds were officially recognized, they helped to lead the movement. One such bond occurred between the cities of Toledo, Ohio, and Toledo, Spain. Due to sharing the same name, the two cities had a social bond dating back to the early 1800s. In 1931, a formal connection was made, making this the first officially recognized sister city pairing in the world. The Toledos of Spain and Ohio laid the initial groundwork for the later developments of the U.S. Sister Cities movement. By the late 1940s, both World War I and World War II had shaken the globe, which led to intense feelings of abhorrence. The tumultuous events were something that many sought to leave behind. A desire to appease tensions inspired many to look for a peaceful path to reconciliation. In the wake of World War II, much of Europe was left with strong physical evidence of the fighting that had occurred. One such affected city was that of Brest, France. The city was nearly destroyed during the fighting and was left, among other things, without a functioning hospital. In 1947, Amanda Knecht, a teacher from Denver's East High School, traveled to Brest. Witnessing the destruction firsthand, she expressed a desire to assist the community. Upon returning to Denver, she shared what she had seen with her high school students. Some students, inspired by the story, decided to adopt the war-torn city and work towards rebuilding it. They established a fundraising campaign led by two co-chairmen, Cynthia Johnson of South High School and Frank Traylor Jr. of East High School. Johnson and Traylor began by rallying the Colorado All-State Student Council to the cause, and ultimately worked with students from across the Denver Public Schools district to raise funds for Brest. The fundraising campaign continued to raise money throughout the year and ultimately raised nearly $33,000. This money was sent to Brest and applied towards the construction of the children's wing of the new public hospital. In addition, emissaries from Denver were sent to Brest to help foster the relationship. In 1948, Denver and Brest officially recognized their relationship as sister cities. The creation of this grassroots sisterhood marked the beginning of Denver Sister Cities International. While it was the second official town affiliation in the nation, it was the first to represent Sister Cities' mission of citizens being political and social leaders, taking international diplomacy into their own hands, and helping people through collaboration and understanding. Over the next few years, the connection was further cultivated. Residents of both cities participated in exchanges to better understand each other. work continued in an attempt to rebuild relationships between the United States and foreign nations. Most of these efforts were conducted at a federal and international level through movements such as the United Nations, formed in 1945, and the Marshall Plan, which ran from 1948 to 1952. In 1952, Dwight D. Eisenhower was elected as the 34th President of the United States. Eisenhower decided not only to pursue international diplomacy through traditional government channels, but also to lead an effort towards public diplomacy, the idea of shaping and influencing foreign policy through the efforts of citizens and the media. On September 11, 1956, Eisenhower convened a White House conference on citizen diplomacy. This committee of 100 civic leaders recommended launching an initiative to connect individuals from across the globe.
The work that we expect to do is based upon the assumption that no people wants war, that all people want peace.
Dubbed the People-to-People program, committees were tasked with organizing exchanges for civilian leaders who would go abroad with the attempt to better the shared human condition as a path to peace. Over the next few years, People-to-People's legacy continued through cultural exchanges of hundreds of students, executives, and people of the general population. Of the 42 committees formed at the inaugural conference, by 1959, 33 still remained. The largest of these was called the National League of Cities. This committee was informed by the leadership of the Denver-Brest program and sought to connect American cities with cities from across the globe. In 1967, the program was officially incorporated as the Town Affiliation Association of the U.S. and has since been renamed as Sister Cities International. In the years since, the legacy of Sister Cities has been felt worldwide. Today, Denver has 10 sister cities, including Brest. These pairings exist across the globe and range from Italy to Kenya to Mongolia. Meanwhile, the United States program now documents over 2,000 connections between American cities and cities from 143 countries. Many of these sister cities programs continue the mission of civilian exchanges to promote peace and understanding between cultures.
People that are going on exchanges now are going to be the people that are going to be international business leaders in the future. They're going to be political leaders in the future.
The ultimate vision of the Sister Cities movement is to achieve lasting peace on a global scale.
If greater understanding and peace are our ultimate destinations in this world, this society of ours, then bridging the gaps of understanding is the greatest step we can take to make those two goals come to reality.
In support of this goal, one course of action has been to pair U.S. cities with counterparts in countries with which the United States has been or is still in conflict. This method was first used in 1973 when Richard Nixon and Leonid Brezhnev announced 5 sister city pairings between the two nations. Today, this method is still pursued through enterprises such as the Sister Cities Muslim World Partnership Initiative, started in 2001. These connections allow citizens to take the lead towards reconciliation.
And a lot of these controversies do rise up when you're forming a relationship with a country where there's aspects of the culture or the political system that don't mesh with U.S. values. Sister city relationships aren't meant to justify those differences or to paper over them. It's really to build more of a depth of understanding. And I think if you're interested in changing the behavior or changing someone else, you really first have to understand them and show respect for them, or they aren't going to listen to you.
As technology reaches greater prevalence in society, sister cities are increasingly utilizing the internet and social media to increase the connections worldwide. The Sister Cities movement in the United States has affected the country from coast to coast. Started as a means to inspire peace worldwide, the organization's impact can be felt across the world as well. This goal was first expressed through the leadership of Denver Sister Cities. The legacy of the first connection in 1948 between Denver, Colorado, and Brest, France can be seen today in the continued diplomatic missions of sister cities around the world. The formation of the nationwide organizations of People-to-People and Sister Cities International have helped to spread this mission on a global scale. Today, the Sister Cities movement continues to have a lasting legacy through cultural exchanges, trade and economic development, and municipal cooperation worldwide. Through the leadership of a lone Denver public school teacher and her high school students, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Sister Cities International, and millions of citizens across the globe, the world is a more connected place and peace is promoted internationally.